The Bound by Duty update has completely shaken up Darktide. Veterans, Zealots, and Psykers now have brand new talent trees, and there is a pile of shiny new weapons to mess around with. So I figured this was the perfect time to put together 5 new builds, one for each class, that are not only just strong but also a ton of fun to play around with, and that show off all of the new toys. Are these the perfect builds? Probably not. The patch is still fresh and the meta is likely to change. But I can promise you this, every single build here can very comfortably handle Auric Maelstrom missions and even push into mid-level havocs without too much trouble. So without further ado, let us dive in. Let's start with the Veteran, as this build uses 2 of the new weapons, the Power Falchion and the Explosive Bolter. It is a high damage setup that can delete almost anything while keeping your team safe through the sheer stagger power of non-stop explosions. The game plan is very simple. Skirt the edges of the fight, keep an eye out for enemies charging at your squad, and delete them before they arrive. If it's a lot of them, pop the Executioner stance and let the new Bolter's surprising accuracy turn them into paste. Just don't go full auto unless it's wall-to-wall crushers. The steady, controlled blasts are exactly what makes the weapon so good. And the best part is, even if you do miss, the explosions will stagger everything nearby, letting you lock down entire waves of elites while your team gets to work on slicing them up. If things start to look dicey, lob grenades directly at the horde. They apply a lot of stagger and bleed and regenerate fairly quickly, so do not be stingy. A couple of well-placed grenades can save you from even the most horrific of situations. For basic hordes, you'll want to swap to the Power Falchion. Once powered up, open with a heavy attack and then alternate between heavy and light. This will give you huge, sweeping attacks that will mulch through chaff. If you get surrounded, don't go for the fancy combos and just swing wildly until you are free. Your only real drawback is mobility. This build thrives when you get to set the pace and really suffers when you're forced to run around in a blind panic. So always keep an eye out for sneaky specials, because there is a guaranteed chance there's going to be at least one of them lining up to ruin your day. So don't let them. All in all, it is a fun, flashy veteran build that makes full use of the new toys. And best of all, it is a much welcome break from the endless parade of shouty builds, because this one prefers to let the explosions do all the talking. The Arbiter build is all about speed. You attack fast, you move fast, and whatever you hit tends to die just as quickly. As long as you don't allow yourself to get boxed in, you can slip in and out of trouble and keep picking off enemies at your own pace. Your core weapon is the Tactical Axe, which is honestly usually very underwhelming, but here it really shines thanks to the Arbiter talents. It swings fast, staggers easily, and when aimed at head height, it gets all of your buffs going and absolutely tears through mixed hordes. When it comes to specials and mixed elites, you've got 2 tools. Either send your dog missile after them or pull out the Mark 6 bolt pistol. It is absolutely perfect for run and gun play. Just run directly at the enemy while shooting at them, and either they die instantly or they get staggered as you close the distance. This build is also insanely tanky, with honestly absurd toughness regen that makes you a natural frontliner. Just beware the new plasma gunners. They are absurdly broken and will strip your toughness and finish you off in the blink of an eye. So if you see them, make sure they are gone. If you're ever cornered, unleash your dog and use the remote detonation. It stuns pretty much everything, including bosses, thus giving you all the breathing room you need to carve your way out, or maybe even in, with your axe. Your only real weakness are the newly buffed crushers. Between the axe and the pistol, you can indeed take them down, but it is a very slow process. It is much better to lock them down with a shock collar and focus them down one by one with your team. And this is where the Nuncio Aquila comes into play. This buffs your team, debuffs your enemies, and makes standing your ground possible even in the middle of a room. So use it often and use it well because the cooldown is extremely low. And there you have it. It is a fast, aggressive Arbiter build that is just a little bit flashier than some of the usual stuff. So if you've got a need for speed, this one is the way to go. This Psyker build is, without exaggeration, one of the strongest builds in the entire game. It is the setup I used to earn my True Survivor badge in Havoc 40, and the core idea is very simple. Evaporate hordes with fire while protecting your team with bubble shields and endless stagger. Your bread and butter is the Inferno Staff's charged attack. Stay at high peril to stack up your buffs and then bathe the battlefield in flames. Hordes will vanish instantly, and anything short of a crusher will burn out after a volley or two. But if a wave of elites gets way too close, just spam light attacks. The stagger it does is enough to stunlock everything besides crushers. It really is crazy. When it's time to deal with those armored bastards, swap to the incredibly powerful dueling sword. Killing crushers will take a few pokes given their newly buffed health, but the sword will still handle them quite quickly. But otherwise, once you're not fighting crushers or running for your life, stick to the staff as it is a lot more efficient. Your Telekine shield has essentially no cooldown, so be aggressive with it. Isolate gunners, push forward and fry them before they can do anything. It is a little bit risky to do since you are squishy, but if done well, this aggressive play can save your team a whole lot of trouble. For specials, Brain Burst deletes them at range, while the staff can clear them up close even if they're hiding in a mixed horde. Either way, you have the answer. The one trick that truly elevates this build is sliding while channeling. Sliding lets you dodge through enemy swings while still searing off their face. I have an endgame focused guide that discusses this in more detail. You can find it down in the description. But long story short, sliding gives this build some much needed mobility. And that's the Infernal Psyker. It is very simple to learn, it is brutally effective, and capable of carrying even the most hopeless of teams through the toughest of content. Just don't let yourself get ambushed and you can melt through everything Darktide can throw at you. The Zealot is easily the spiciest build here. And if you're wondering why, it's because most people hate it. Every week there's at least one Reddit thread complaining about how some knife zealots somewhere ruined their life. But if you play the class right, this is one of the strongest and most helpful builds in the game. First of all, you are not a ninja assassin. You are a highly durable brawler that can always be in the right place at the right time. Use stealth to slip ahead of the team and tie down groups of gunners in melee. You don't even need to kill them, just make them focus on the crazed hobo with a knife instead of shooting your team. When the fight does actually break out, pull back and fight alongside your team. Your light attacks at head height will shred hordes, while weaving in dodges will keep your buffs rolling so you can essentially roleplay a whirlwind of death. For big elites and bosses, rely on push attacks. They chain quickly and honestly deal an absurd amount of damage from behind. So if you use stealth to reset your aggro, you can then go to town on a boss and carve up huge portions of his HP before he even realizes what just happened. You're also perfect for doing objectives. Between your stealth and insane speed, you can solo just about every event in the game and thus massively reduce the pressure on your team. For killing specials, use throwing knives in close to mid-range as you can then guarantee headshots, while the revolver should be used for distant enemies or just when you're overwhelmed. Between the two of these and your mobility, you are one of the best special hunters in the entire game, so make sure to use that power to avert disaster. This is a fast, skill-intensive build that can carry even very weak teams. So don't be selfish, support your squad, and maybe, just maybe, we'll finally change the community's opinion on Knife Zealots. The Gun-gryn build combines two of my favorite things in Darktide: endless bullets and endless explosions. And on top of that, you're also a nigh indestructible monster of an Gun-gryn, so really, what's not to love? Your primary solution to most problems is the Heavy Stubber. It is one of the very few Gun-gryn weapons that is actually precise, so use it to shred specials and elites before they can threaten your team. Crushers are the only exception here, as their insanely high armor just shrugs off most bullets. When the number of elites starts to rise and they really pile in, this is when you hit point blank barrage and just let it rip. You'll mulch through pretty much everything in sight, either via damage or burn stacks. Not even bosses are safe. They will absolutely melt thanks to your absurd DPS. You are, however, limited by ammo, so do pace yourself or you'll be dry before you know it. For smaller fights, whip out the freshly buffed Polblart Mole Gun-gryn. That was fucking terrible. Also known as the Power Mole. A single powered strike decimates hordes and even forces crushers to sit down and think about their life choices. And while it's recharging, it is still a perfectly good club to smash enemies with. If you're getting overwhelmed, just throw down your box of grenades. It doesn't do a lot of damage, it's honestly kind of a disappointment in that regard, but it stuns everything and it does so for a very long amount of time. And you get 3 of them per recharge, so honestly, it's still kinda good. Your biggest weakness is disabler specials dragging your massive frame down into the dirt. So if you want to avoid a grisly fate, buddy up with a teammate so you can watch their back and they can watch yours. This is a very straightforward but honestly ridiculously fun build that embodies everything an Gun-gryn wants to do. Spray bullets, smash skulls, and laugh as the entire battlefield explodes around you. It only gets better and better the more enemies there are, so it really is perfect for Auric or Maelstrom missions. Though given the ammo requirement, I would not recommend this for higher level Havoc. And there you have it. My favorite builds for each class, and the ones I've been running ever since the update to smash those goddamn plasma gunners into mulch. The whole bunch of them is very powerful, fast-paced, and honestly, they're just a lot of fun to play. So with a bit of luck, they'll serve you just as well as they have served me. Enjoy, and if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to help you out. Thank you for watching. If you would like to see more, make sure to subscribe, like the video, click the stupid bell, pet your favorite bolter, and do whatever other nonsense you gotta do these days. Thank you for sticking to the very end, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye!